everybody, Jill Ramirez here, helping you enjoy your age. So today we're going to be doing just kind of what I've been, the steps I've been doing just for kind of my foundation routine. I have been kind of flip-flopping back and forth depending on my mood when it comes to if I'm just not feeling a full face or just want to get out the door quickly. I will do a very sheer approach to this, and I'll tell you what that is. But on days like today, I'm going to be filming a few videos today. I want to put my best face forward for you guys. And also, you know, if I'm going to be doing a bunch of errands and I'm in the mood, then this is what I will do. So I'm going to take you along all the way through any correctors I'm using, the concealer that I'm using as well, and any powder or finishers or anything like that. So I'm going to take you through that far. Let's get going. I haven't done anything with my hair, and my helper hair's not in or anything, but I'm going to put a lovely little square band in just to keep this out of my face. My hair, oh God, look, I thought I had my eyeglasses on. Do you guys do that? I'm just gonna take my glasses off. They're right here. Okay. Anyway, I've completely lost my train of thought here. Oh, my hair is getting very kind of long, and it's driving me a little nuts, you guys. I haven't had my hair this long in a while, and it even bothers me like when I'm sleeping because it's so fine and just and it just kind of starts clinging around my neck at night, and it's driving me a little bonkers. So I think I'm going to cut it up to quite a bit, and I'm gonna, you know, trim my toppers that may be a little bit too long, and I just think that's a better length for me. And I'm pondering still. I haven't 100% committed to that, but that's a whole different conversation. Foundation routine. I've already prepped my skin. And you know, if you just saw the video I uploaded about winter skin transition and why lipids are so important this time of year, I really, you know, kind of did a pump. I don't usually do a full pump, but I did a full pump of the pumpkin serum full of antioxidants and just nutrients for the skin, and then a drop of the Drops of Essence hydration drops, mixed it all up and just kind of pressed that in everywhere. I even took warm palms and lightly pressed it in around my eyes, and that is all I've done. I didn't put an extra cream around my eyes or anything, but my skin feels very supple, very dewy, and it will be feeling really nice all day long. So that's how I prep my skin before my makeup. So today I'm going to show you the routine that I do. Is very simple. I've talked about it before, I'm sure, in other videos. When I want a little bit more coverage, because on many days lately I have just been using the VT Cosmetics kind of creamy pat on foundation. This is very sheer, lovely coverage. It feels like second skin. It feels like your skin, only your skin's more beautiful. It's absolutely, I'm telling you, this is magic. I hope you are as amazed as I am and as pleased. My daughter told me about this product. It's a Korean makeup line, and she's very up on that, and she shared with me this, and she was actually in Vietnam at the time, and we were FaceTiming each other, and I had to stop her. She was in natural light. She's 24. She has pretty skin anyway, but I told her, I said, my God, Hannah, your skin looks so amazing right now. What are you doing? You know? And she's like, oh, well, I have my concoction. I did my infused 7. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like that's the stuff you always do, you know? And she goes, well, it's really humid here, so my skin's been really great and dewy. And then she said, oh, and I got this VT Cosmetics thing. And she said, and I said, that has to be it. Like, oh my goodness, you know, I mean, yes, it's all of those things, but that little extra something, I think, is what has put it over the top. So I had to try it. Granted, she's 24, I'm 53. You know, that's where the expectations have to be reasonable as we age. I have been so happy with this, you guys. It's not super duper expensive. I think it's 20 something when you buy it the first time because you need the whole compact thing. I've already reordered a second one, which is just the refill that you pop in. And look, I'm already I'm already using the heck out of it. It's not that it doesn't last long. It's just I use it a lot and I incorporate it at some point. No matter what foundation I'm using, I seem to incorporate this in there because the finish that you get from this is beautiful. It's sheer, yes. And I know I have really given a full review on this, but I'm just going to reiterate in case you didn't catch that. The finish of this is absolutely beautiful. It's so pretty. I even hate to use any finishers or powders over the top. It gives you a it mutes out kind of ruddiness or redness, because I do get that right in here, kind of up in here. And I have my pigmentation. I even have freckle pigmentation kind of under my, which one is it? Well, I think it's mostly this eye. And it doesn't get rid of, it doesn't make it all disappear like a heavy makeup, but it does mute it. It mutes everything. And it kind of is almost like you have this filter, you know, that just kind of blurs things ever so. It gives you an all over kind of milky complexion. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. I say give it a go no matter how old you are. I think you will love it. Now, on the days you want a little more coverage, this is how I use it. Okay, so use your regular foundation that you're really happy with, and it gives you, you know, whatever that coverage is that you're looking for. I'm going to reach for the NARS Longwear foundation. Now, the problem I have with this foundation is it is gorgeous, but it clings to any imperfection I have on my face. It clings to any little dry skin cell that may be clinging to my skin. And it's one of those foundations, because I did a review on it as well though, that over time it starts melding more with my, you know, like whatever skincare I'm using, and it looks kind of nicer as the day goes on. And it is a long-wear foundation. I have found it actually does give you a good long wear before it starts fading away. It doesn't do anything weird. It doesn't oxidize. It doesn't break up and settle. It just kind of disappears. I don't know. So I do love that about this. This is a little too light for me, but I find that I rather go that direction because I'm very fair. And then correct that maybe with finishers that have a little tint of something in it, or maybe you got to be careful with bronzers, but say you really love your bronzers and you find that what you're using as a foundation is a little light, you can warm everything up later. So I rather have that than go in too dark, and then it's really hard to get to look nice. So let's start with this. So I really actually love applying this foundation with a little brush of mine, but it needs to be washed, and I keep forgetting. I absolutely keep forgetting to wash my makeup brushes. And then I don't think about it, because then when I'm done recording, I'm doing all the other things that I need to do in my life, and then I completely forget to do it. And then I'm back recording and going, gosh darn it, Jill, wash your makeup brushes. Anyway, okay. I'm going to put a little bit of this also on my neck, because I just want a better kind of cohesive look. So this is a truly very, even though it gives me good coverage, it still is very light, which I love about this foundation. I really do. I don't like heavy foundations, which is why I don't tend to gravitate toward full coverage foundations. And this one is very sheer and light, but holy mackerel, when I turn to my 5x mirror and look at my skin, wow, I really need to exfoliate. I really do. Really bad. This clings. If you put this on and you look in a magnifying mirror, you know, this is a 5x, it settles on every dry spot. It really settles into all the pores, and it really does look a little bit horrifying when you look at it in a magnifying mirror. But there's two things you can do because the finish is very pretty. You can go in with a nice primer. I did experiment with that, if you recall, and it is the best when you use a nice primer. Finding that nice primer is, I think, a little more challenging, but I do like the Urban Decay, and I'll put it up here because now I don't remember the name of it, but out of the primers that I tested, that was the one that I liked the best because it is a little hydrating and it worked very well with this, and it made the application of this so much more beautiful. It didn't seem to cause any kind of degradation of this product through the day. I do recommend that. I don't like wearing primers every day though, so this foundation does kind of look better, like I said, as the day wears on, but boy, it's a little terrifying when you look in a magnifying mirror. So I have that done now, and I just like to make sure that I really have it back into my hairline, just kind of everywhere, so we don't have any kind of lines going on. I get dry skin in my brows as well, so I'll get that out with my little spoolie thing. Okay, so that's that one. Now I'm going to do my concealer before I dip into the next step of my foundation. Now, I have not been feeling well for a few months now, actually. I have to really concentrate on drinking a lot of water, and I haven't been so great about that lately. Anyway, I see it. I see it in my skin. I see it in my eyes and everything. So I have noticed more pigmentation lately, darkness, you know, that blood pooling right in my eyes. I don't tend to struggle too much with dark circles, but I have noticed an increase of them, and it just reflects kind of how I'm feeling and what my body's doing inside. Our skin does that. It just shows you. It's, you know, what's going on with you. You can see it in your eyes, and it's just everything. So I'm finding that I'm having more pronounced, even a little bit more puffiness, which is never a thing for me. And outside pigmentation, like outside darkness, again, it's more stagnant stuff going on, blood pooling, because it's that deep purple, almost, it is a bruise technically. So I have had to use, if I really want to, you know, put my best face forward, I do have to use a little bit of peach corrector. So I'm going to go in with my Naked Skin peach corrector. I haven't had to use this for a while, but I have been digging it out lately. So I'm just going to kind of dot that right in here. I have veining in there as well, but this works. Peach and variances of peach work to help the dark purpling, the blue, those veining, you know, the veining that you get. And, you know, all of that is very difficult to not notice because our eye tissue is so thin. So that's where peach comes in. And look at how dark I am, just like right in here. Wow. And I'm also going to do a little bit here on the outside of my eye, and call it good. I have been using on my eyelids a really nice primer. Again, I don't normally do this, but I have been using Stay Don't Stray as and it is an eyelid primer, but it has pigment and it stays, it covers beautifully, and I have used it because I have more veining and purpling in my eyelid even. So then I just tap this in. I tap it in, and I will conceal over the top of this. First though, I just kind of want to see if I have enough. That will do the trick. Not too concerned about my eyelid itself because, again, I'm going to go in with the Stay Don't Stray, which has excellent coverage for my eyelids. Okay, I'm going to go in with just a little bit more in the very corner. Okay, then I'm going to go in with my actual concealer. Lately, I have been using my Bare Minerals Well Rested. I love this stuff. I've used it for years. I would say I started using it when I was in my late 30s and definitely through my 40s. Yes, it is a powder, but I love it. I have a hard time finding just the right color for concealers for me because either it's too light or it's just too dark and it just doesn't work well. I love this Well Rested because it is a tinged yellow. It's kind of a corrector, but the yellow isn't so yellow that I feel like I need to put yet another concealer over the top of it. It corrects the redness. It does help a little again with the darkness, but going over the peach with it has been what really has made a difference with what's been going on with my eyes lately. So I really like to kind of concentrate this again, kind of more in this corner. I don't like to go too far down with this. I will take the warmness of my ring finger and just kind of press that powder in. And that works well and kind of, you know, kind of melding it in. And it takes away any cakiness maybe that may have happened. So that's been my concealer routine really for quite a while now. The peach corrector is fairly new, but I've been using my Well Rested for a long time. All right, so now I'm going to set my skin, and I still have my Kat Von D Lockit. This is the translucent powder, very colorless, finely milled, and this works the best, gives you kind of a really beautiful finish if you pounce it into your skin. Put up, tap it, and then I'm just gonna pounce it. I'm gonna pounce it all over just to kind of get it everywhere at first. And then I am gonna really just kind of press it in, and this really gives a really pretty finish with this powder. It works better like this rather than just going in and brushing it all over the face. I will brush the excess off when I'm done pouncing, but I don't know, I just find that this gives me a really pretty finish overall. Well, we're not done yet because this is the next part that really helps me deal with the finish of this foundation. So even though it gives me really pretty yet natural coverage, it's not a heavy coverage, but it's nice, I miss the kind of glowy, dewy look that now that I've powdered my skin, and I also miss the finish of the VT Cosmetics sheer coverage here of this foundation. So this is a pan, and it's a creamy blend. It's cooling when it goes on the skin. The little white kind of bit that is worked in there is, the camera wants to focus on my face. There's a swirl of this white kind of hydrating creamy swirl in there. And I've used it up almost, but there's still some in the outer little perimeter there. So I just kind of take it and kind of swipe it around. This feels so cooling on the skin, and I just love the finish of this stuff. So what I do is I don't put this on all over when I double up my foundation like this. And I do this after I do the Kat Von D Lockit. And I just take this and I press it right here on the kind of top of my cheek. I also like to get it right kind of under my eye, but not all the way to the top. And I mean, do you see what that did? I don't know if you can see that. It just gives me that beautiful look then finish that I love from this. And then I also like to do it here on my chin and right here on top of my nose. And then I'll do it kind of like a highlight almost right here. I won't do it in the center of my forehead, but it just really, do you see that? I hope you can see that. And I will not powder over the top of this. Now, I have done a finishing powder because that's a little different. Finishing powders can be dewy, but honestly, in experimenting with that, I have found that I still prefer just this finish alone. I just like to leave it alone and If you're worried once you get under here with this, because it is kind of this really pretty light creamy finish, don't go up as high maybe, and you'll have your setting more or less from the Well Rested. It's a way of, I guess, setting that peach corrector and whatnot. You can always go back in and just maybe get it right close underneath there, so you'll have a little bit of extra kind of setting powder under there. And this is still the residue of the Well Rested in there. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's how I have been using this when I want a little bit more coverage. You know, you put on the foundation that you love. Try, especially, you know, if it's a kind of a matte foundation, but you love the coverage, put this, you know, on, you know, like right in here. It will give you this illusion of having, you know, kind of fuller cheeks, you know, and that's a sign of youth. And it's just, it's beautiful. I cannot express enough. I am not exaggerating. This stuff is beautiful. Okay. So that, my friends, has been what I've been doing with my foundation routine when I want a little more coverage. So then I've been doing the Stay Don't Stray here. This is a primer for the eyelids. I use it all over up into my brow bone. And then I will use the Kat Von D Lockit with this same brush and tap it in over the top, so blending of my eyeshadows will be beautiful. So this is beautiful. I've had this for a while, and then I just realized, you know, I really don't think I need this step. It does help your eyeshadows stay longer without creasing, but I never had a problem with creasing because I don't have oily eyelids. But nonetheless, it does help your eyeshadow last longer, even if you don't have oily eyelids. It is a kind of a thick, well, it's not thick, it's just, I don't know, it's a primer, and it's very nice. And I just, again, I kind of have to move it a little and tap it in, and it's a beautiful, wonderful pigmented primer that really does what it says. So that is what I do there. Then I'm going to go in again and powder over that lightly. You don't need to go crazy with this, but it's too tacky to just, you know, go over. Even with my first wash color of my eye looks, I still like to do a light little layer of the Kat Von D Lockit translucent powder, or whatever, you know, translucent powder that you're using. So now I'm going to put a little bit of a finisher over this, and I love finishers. Finishers are different than setting your skin. Finishers are things like the Pure Radiance or the Radiance line in general, in the Bare Minerals line. They are some of the, I just love the Radiances in the Bare Minerals line. I love the Flawless Radiance. This is the Pure Radiance. I have the Rose Radiance. The Rose Radiance for me is more of a blush. It's definitely a little too much because my skin is so fair, but this is the Pure Radiance. So I'm going to go in with the Pure Radiance with a blush brush, kind of tap off the excess. And I'm going to take this all over, very lightly over my nose and just kind of everywhere. Now, if you feel that you've lost this beautiful finish that you got from the VT Cosmetics, you can go over the top of it again. I still see it there. I'm okay with how that's still looking the way it is. And that's it. That's how I like to do the finisher. Flawless Radiance is gorgeous if you don't want a very slight kind of pink undertone with your radiance. Flawless Radiance is pretty neutral. So that is it. I would go in next with my blush and, you know, do my eyes and whatnot. So I'm going to do all of that actually, and I'll be right back. So yeah, again, when I was done with my makeup, I went in with the VT Cosmetics compact here, and I just kind of tapped it right in here, just really lightly, just to kind of re-brighten that out after I wiped off any fallout that I might have. It's just, it's phenomenal. It really is. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and that you enjoyed it. Have a great evening. If it's in the morning, I hope you have a fabulous day, and always stay young at heart. See you next time. Bye-bye.